No other bodies had been found. The reporter said every person in the classroom was huddled around a laptop, the teacher's desk, or even their phones, hoping, praying that they wouldn't hear what they were fearing they would. 4 months ago, 16-year-old Marie Orsis went missing. The entire school was confused. Though some people would tease Jamie for her Tourettes syndrome, they made sure to keep Jamie in on certain jokes, not trying to hurt her. Well, until Jason joined the school. He would push her down every chance he got. He wasn't very liked, especially by the popular students in the high school. When Jamie suddenly went missing, search parties were being formed by students left and right. The crime buff students were asking everyone who knew Jamie the same things as the police. Did Jamie have any enemies? Do you know anyone who would want to hurt her? Did she have suicidal thoughts? Everything they could do, they did, so they could bring Jamie home. Due to no further evidence, the classroom held their breath. Even Jason and the quiet kid in the back, Cody, held his breath, waiting, hoping they would say the investigation would be continued, that maybe they would spread out the investigation out to different cities to search. But Marie Orsis has been presumed dead. The words hung heavy in the air around everyone. Some of the girls began sobbing immediately, while the boys couldn't even tell them that they would find her. Everyone was in shock. The school was in a deep depression. Teachers would cancel lessons, students would skip. Nobody cared. Jason walked through the woods. His eyes were downcast. His hood was yanked over his head. The rain was pouring around him, soaking his faded blue hoodie to no end. It was a joke, Jason whispered to himself. I didn't think she'd really do it. Hey, tweaker, Jason teased, while poking Jamie, while her hand twitched violently. Jamie turned her head. An involuntary click of her tongue following that made Jason laugh. Jamie raised a brow and leaned back into her seat curiously. Her shoulder jerked involuntarily, her pale eyes filled with light irritation. You know those woods? Jason asked, pointing to the woods across from the school. Nobody went there since a girl, Lucy, went missing. Students said they were haunted. The occult students said it was probably a demon or something. I do, Jamie muttered slowly, afraid to stumble over her words. Jason grinned. Jamie wouldn't be brave enough to actually do it. He was sure of it. The new Slenderman game had just come out and kids were ranting about it, asking around about how to get certain pages. Everyone knew it was a game, but Jamie had never played it. I heard if you find the 8 pages from those woods and survive, you can save at least one person, Jason joked. Jamie didn't get the joke and thought he was being honest. Jamie's head snapped to the side involuntarily, her fingers tapping frantically on the lunch table. Jason stopped walking for a second, glancing over his shoulder. The rain dripped off of his bangs down his face. It was hard to see, but Jason could have sworn he saw the glint of silver in the fading sunlight. Jason shook his head. Those old stories must have finally begun getting to his head, getting to him. Jason sighed, turning around, and began trudging back down the hill and back to the hell he called home. Before he could take a step, he froze. There stood a young woman, her face hidden by a white cracked mask with a wide grin and 2 X's for eyes. Her long platinum hair rested against her gentle shoulders. She wore a familiar black sweater that swallowed her small frame like a knee-length dress. Her white stockings covered her legs and her sneakers, stained with fresh mud. There, in her left hand, was a pair of silver scissors glinting in the fading sunlight. Jason was about to grab his phone. Crats on the screen be damned, he was going to call the cops. Until the figure's shoulder jerked. in involuntary motion. Jamie always used to complain to her friends how her shoulders hurt from that being her most common tic. Jason's eyes widened as he smiled nervously. Jamie was 3 years under Jason. He never let her forget that fact. She was much shorter than him as well, so he shouldn't have been afraid of her. Jason's hands shook as he lifted them in surrender. Jamie's body only began to move closer. The rain stained her sickly gray skin, while blood dripped down her hands and her neck from beneath the mask. The very next morning, the incident was scattered across the news. One particular person seemed more interested in it. His fingers twitching in a violent twitch. Oh, that's so stupid. His messy brown hair hiding his eyes more behind the orange ski goggles he wore. A grin spread across his face, the teeth showing through his scar, grinding together as a slow laugh escaped his lips. This morning, the reporter began. Her voice seemed more terrified than professional this time, almost like she'd seen the crime scene before and wasn't just reporting about information they had at that moment. A high schooler, Jason Vorison, was discovered dead. An image flashed on the screen for a few moments, but it was long enough for many to register. Jason had been found hanging in a tree. His own intestines were used like a macabre noose. His eyes gouged out with some kind of rusty tool. His wrists cut with what seemed to be scissors. His organs laid beneath where his feet should have been, but seemed to have disappeared, or rather been sliced off with something sharper than a pair of scissors. There was a note left by the killer, a different reporter said. Sounds of the first reporter vomiting at the sight could be heard. Behind the camera, the new reporter held a bloodied piece of paper in his hand. Swallowing, the note was written in neat handwriting. Simple, yet threatening message. Can't run from what you did now. Hope you know I hold a lot of grudges. Hope you know I'm not dead. And I will have my revenge on those who wronged me. Dollface.